In this video I'm going to be telling you all the things I like and all the things I don't like about the Salomon Phantasm 2. What is up everybody, and welcome to sort of first for 40 runs. We've got a carbon plated shoe from the guys from Salomon. Now is it Salomon or is it Solomon? I think it might be Solomon. Either way I'm going to be saying it wrong throughout this whole video. But don't worry about that, because I want to go through what's going on here with this shoe, and I want to talk to you about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like, and try and work out by the end of the video whether you actually need to be spending £240 on this carbon plated racing shoe. Okay, right guys, so the Phantasm 2 is a racing shoe, racing sort of super shoe, let's call it, from the guys from Salomon. We've got a dual density PBA based foam in here with a carbon plate, so it's all set up to run fast, run hard and make you feel awesome. Now before we get into the things I like and things I don't like and whether you actually need to buy it, let's actually run through the stats and features here, because there's quite a lot going on, which is kind of awesome. So this shoe is £240. It's just under 8 ounces or 225 grams. Like I said, we've got two dual density PBA foam in here, which is a first. We've got a very low slung carbon plate. The carbon plate position is lower. We've got a 9mm drop. The fit is just about true to size. I'll come on to that in a minute. We've got this single layer mesh upper. We've got 37mm of stack. And yeah, I've said the drop. We've got a 9mm drop on it. We've got this rubber outsole. You don't get this stone with the shoe. That came as part of my running them that I did earlier today. We've done, by the way, 3 runs in the shoe, but one of those was a 16-mile training run. But you can just about see the plate in there. But yeah, we've got like this tacky rubber outsole. It's very thin, but it is there, and you've got 2 rubber bits shoved on the end as well. Lacing's good. You've got plenty of lacing and lock down there. You've got a gusseted tongue which is sort of locked in from there. You've got a nice bit of airflow coming through the upper with this, this mesh upper. I'm trying to think of whether it's like that sort of mono mesh. It is kind of mono mesh feeling actually. You've got a little bit of foam around the heel, which provides a decent amount of lockdown in the heel and comfort at the same time. It's pretty stable, it's quite wide, and it does give you some stability. Although it's a very soft foam, I was surprised how stable it was, and I'll come on to things I like in a minute. But overall, the setup of the shoe should work for many of you. It's not particularly narrow, it's not particularly wide, but there's plenty of room in here. Although, like I said, it's true to size-ish. I had to wear a thin sock with them, but that's what I would expect because it's a racing shoe. So maybe just watch your sizing. Anyway, right, so that's the kind of stats and features done. There is a lot going on here because this is the first sort of racing road shoe with this PBA foam in here. And they've done a good job of it. So the plate position's low on the shoe, and you kind of notice that, but that does help with propulsion. It does feel snappy off the toe. That kind of helps, and it also helps, I think, with the stability of the shoe as well. But you can notice it to some of the other shoes that are out there. What's a good example? Like the Hoka Rocket X2, and that's a good comparison. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But yeah, overall the shoe is set up to go faster, and I felt the speed really kick in at those lower paces, as you'd expect. At sort of 9-minute easy pace per mile, for me this shoe really doesn't feel like anything special. But when I was getting down to 7:30 per mile, sort of target pace is 8, but sort of dropping it down from there, the shoe did come alive, and you could feel the PBA foam working well with the plate. So actually, let's get on to the things I like. So yeah, I liked the ride when it was when we was going for it. I didn't particularly care for it when I was slower, but that's fine. Again, that's not what the shoe is designed for. I like the airflow through the upper. It really kept my. It was a warm down that 16-mile run we did. The other 2 runs I did, I think there was 4 or 6 miles. I can't remember exactly what they were, but either way they weren't particularly hot compared to the day that I did that 16-miler. That was a warm morning, and it really helped, really noticeable, the airflow coming through the upper. I wouldn't say I was able to hold pace like I do in the Adidas Pro 3. It felt like a little bit more hard work at the lower paces. We was going through the gears, and even the other 2 runs that I did in the shoe, they weren't particularly quick. They were, again, around that sort of 8.5-minute miles. and it wasn't feeling particularly brilliant. It only really sort of came alive and got sort of, I don't know, more awesome when I was dropping it with a 7-minute mile handle on it. Does that make any sense? So again, I appreciate that this is a shoe that is a racing shoe, so you should be going for it, but I don't think actually it's a marathon shoe, and that probably leads nicely in to the negatives. Yeah, I don't think this shoe is a marathon shoe. I think this is a half marathon shoe. I think there's better out there, and we'll come on to that. I don't like, as I said, the sort of the fact that when you're backing out of it a little bit, it becomes a little bit dead underfoot. I don't think particularly the ride is as exciting as some of the competitors out there. I think, you know, for example, the Rocket X2 is a much better shoe than this, and the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 2 is a more fun shoe than this. I would worry about durability of the shoe with the outsole. Be interesting to see how long this thing lasts and how easy it gets chewed up. To be fair to it, the 3 runs that I've done, 2 of them have been on smooth tarmac, but the 16 miler was on some gravel sections, and I'm not taking that many lumps and bumps out of the midsole compound, so that's good. But again, the ride is nothing exceptional, and it's just not a shoe that is worth £240 in terms of excitement and awesomeness. So I just don't see who would buy this shoe. I can't really see the point of it in terms of why you would buy it. I'm really struggling with that, because the Hoka Rocket X2, for example, is a much better shoe than this, and the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 2 is a much better shoe than this. So I just don't see why you'd buy this. At £240, it's pointless. So it's not a bad shoe. In fact, it's actually all right, particularly in those faster paces. But I just don't see why you would buy it. Why would you buy this over a Hoka Rocket X2? The Hoka Rocket X2 is a phenomenally fast shoe. I've proved it on this channel. The Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 2 is an incredibly fun shoe, and it's a lot cheaper than this. So I just don't see the point of this. I don't see why you would buy this. Now again, let's be absolutely clear here. There's nothing particularly wrong with the shoe. It's just, I just don't get why you would buy it. I mean, even if you're a massive fan of them, there's better road shoes out there from other manufacturers. So yeah, I think they're kind of wasting their money making these shoes, because I don't think many people are buying them. It's a shame really, because it's actually okay. But I just don't think, you know, us everyday runners, we're going to go out and buy this, because you'd go and buy the right Hoka Rocket X2 if that's the sort of thing, or the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 2. They're much better shoes than this.